the inspection and also the construction progress tracking is normally done by using papers, 2D drawings. So we really would like change the way how we perform our job through a real digital transformation of construction and inspection. What does it require? We need a digital product definition without any 3D model with metadata, with all engineering requirement, dimensions, so on. We can't achieve any use of mixed reality in a construction field. We need a mixed reality technology that we are going to talk that is the core of our work. So to select the good and needed technology to do this kind of activities, we need a large digital twin to be able to have the complete construction history and avoiding any information on different documents, different data. And at the end, it will be very important to have a digital report of all inspection activities. Few words on the mixed reality state of art. So technology is based on, we could say that technology is based on two different kind of solution, head-mounted displays. We can use a mobile device or PC with external cameras. Of course, each of these technology use a different software and different hardware, but one key feature is the tracking that is possible to do. Because it's very important that using mixed reality solution, when we overlap a 3D model to the real part, real components, and you do the inspection, for example, when you move all around the plant, so the 3D model has to be stuck with the reality. Because if you are not tracking well, so of course you can't perform a real analysis of the construction. And anyway, these three different technologies have different challenges. For example, the head-mounted displays could have a field of view limitation, could be heavy to wear, and so. Tablet said they could have only to be screen view. We can interact as with touch only, while camera and PC, for example, are sensitive to light. So our work that we're going to explain has been to go through all these features and select the best software and hardware that we could use on the field construction. But basically, what does it mean use mixed reality? It means bridge physical and digital worlds to automate defect recognition, to track construction progress. Also, that is the next frontier, to integrate AR so that we could have a quick recognition of all the parts in the product. Is of course a cloud-based solution that also allows remote collaboration. So we can work with our final customer or engineering. They can look to the inspection that was done in the remote. So now I hand over to Akshai that we tell you more in detail about the project.
It's the digitally tracked. But if you look at the complete process, we do not have something like a full end-to-end digital process starting from the creation of the inspector test plan to capturing these reports and reporting it back to the site, and then overcoming the rework activities, etc., and then closing all these punch lists, etc. So this is where we came up with a certain number of, let's say, challenges that we face during this process. So here I have put in like few key points that are being identified as a problem that needs to be solved during this process. So first and the foremost thing is the data-driven kind of an inspection that is being done. Of course, the data is coming from a TLM system or any kind of quality management system, but to have like a digital end-to-end solution starting from the ITT preparation to performing the activities for the site is something that is missing. So all this having something which is completely digitally right from the execution of the inspection until the completion of the inspection and the handing over to the customer is very critical. Second thing is, of course, we do all these inspections based on the paper. but you have certain data which are available on the paper and certain things which are available at the site, but you do not have something which is merging the two of them together for you to give out some kind of a, let's say, a visual comparison. This is why we need to have something like a digital-driven inspection that can help you with the comparison between the what has to be from the engineering and what is being constructed by the manufacturer. And the next challenge that we look at is this entire process is quite time-consuming. Going to the site, performing those activities, reporting at that, then doing the work. So to overcome this challenge is where we came up with like a very detailed and structured down selection process, which was completely focused out of the end users. So based on the end users' requirement, we categorize all these down selection teeth, the critical to quality features into on a high level, let's say hardware, software, performance of the cybersecurity assessments, cell collaboration, etc. So we had like a very detailed down selection process, basically consisting of various different factors that needs to be addressed during this inspection. So this was then later compared using two different solutions, which was performed on the site to see how these perform, and a weighted matrix acceleration was calculated to get a weighted score. Because each of these features are quite critical, but say there needs to be a weightage to this, because some things might be very critical for the user, something could be very good to have. So towards the end of the slides, I'll be showing you the detailed comparison between the solution, why we are going ahead with a particular solution, why not the other solution. So in the upcoming slides, I'll be trying to explain you in detail. So during this process of down selection is where we came up with the 9 structure. So here on the slide, you can see like there are 3 key pillars that we need to focus on. On the extreme most left side, you can see the most critical important inputs for this complete system is going to be the CAD 3D model and the construction storyboard that is coming from the manufacturing team, and also there are the other documents as well that is coming from the engineering, which will be used for the inspection. In the center, you have the cancellation process or the optimization process where this 3D model has to be made more useful to the augmented reality. And this is where we have a small optimization process. And next is where these data is being uploaded to the cloud, and this cloud solution as well provides, let's say, an end-to-end link starting from the process to the closure of the process. And having a cloud-based solution also ensures like every time there is some kind of information that is being tracked at the site can also be transferred back to their engineering or any other organization, because this is something which can happen very instantly. The moment you go to the site, you capture any kind of an information, you tag a person to it, the other person on the other side can instantly receive any kind of an information. And since this is completely, let's say, a cloud-based solution which is within the architecture, the cybersecurity and the data that we are using inside this particular system is completely safe, because there is no access for the external users or the internal users. Only selected people can have access to this, and the data that is being used in this complete process is cybersecurity verified. During the trials and POCs and the pilots that we performed at the site, we had multiple different challenges and, let's say, field learnings that we had achieved a lot of through this. So on the left side of the picture, you can see I would like to focus more because it is giving you the realistic view of how this actually works. So you can see there is a operator who's actually holding an iPad, and in the iPad through the widget, you can also see the digital world and the real world. So the green color piping that you see there is basically the digital world, and the white color components that you can see, which are basically the supports on which they are supposed to be mounted, is the real one. So you get like a very good realistic view of how this can be used. Of course, we are talking about use this in module construction, but it's not just module construction. Any level of complexity of assemblies can be handled with this. It could be small turbo machinery-based equipments, or it could be a module or a complete none that needs to be started from the scratch and built on. So here the let's say 2 or 3 key critical challenges that we found and that needs to be addressed was: one is the quality of the 3D model. Because we are using an MR-based solution, the 3D model that you need to use for this particular kind of a setup is something very key critical that needs to be focused on. If you look at the engineering and other value chain of the complete product, you have this 3D model which acts as an input for multiple things, for the PNID creation, for the 2D drawings, and etc. So the quality of 3D model when you overlap at the site has to be up to the mark. If there is some deviation in the 3D model, there is possibility that you could get some kind of a false negative inspection that is being performed. The second thing is, even though we are, of course, performing this inspection with the augmented reality, you're able to see the 3D model, you're able to see the reality, you're able to judge what is right and what is wrong. We are still involving that human being to this always. So to make this process more automatic and more less reliable on human is where we need some kind of an AI integration to this, which can actually do some part of the work. It is not necessary that you have to completely eliminate the human, but you're enhancing the way the humans are going to do this activity. And the third most critical thing is the human safety factor that you need to consider in this as well. Because you're going to use some kind of a MR device, like it could be an iPad, it could be a mixed reality headset, which will rely on it. So every time they go to the site to perform these activities, there are certain challenges that they also can overcome. It could be in terms of ruggedness of the device. It could be some kind of visibility area that is blocking you from performing certain activities, which can be to some kind of a disastrous possibility. So this is where all these factors were being considered, and for the next steps of the project, we are trying to make it more effective and more. So to overcome this mechanical portion, the electrical portion, and then let's say any kind of intermediate changes in the design that is being produced to the construction. So we were able to find out that during the trial runs, like about 25 different users were tested on both the solutions. We were able to justify that 20% of the non-conformities that we could identify was potentially, let's say, identified at an earlier stage. Of course, this is not going to go to the customer as a defect for a product, but downstream of the assembly, when you identify certain non-conformity, it is something that costs you time and work as well. So this is something with the technology you can try to see at the prior step itself, like if you can overcome these kind of challenges. So we were able to identify 20% of the non-conformities could be identified at a very early stage. Moving on to the feature and scoring of the two solutions that we tried to match, you can see the solution 2 has fared well in terms of, let's say, functionality, and has fared low in terms of functionality and collaboration, but the solution 1 had fared well in terms of hardware, software, cybersecurity, and vendor as well. But the reality of reason why we went with solution 2 is because solution 1 was something it was already available in the market. It was kind of a rigid solution which works based on what they provide to you. On the other hand, solution 2 was something which was co-developed with the vendor, with basic functionalities developed so that it meets the end user's expectation. This is the reason why you see that the functionality and collaboration the scoring is quite low. But given the fact that the vendor integration with the Baker Hughes system is quite good, this is something which can be improved at the time. So the key critical focus was here to ensure that the end users key points are being addressed, and something which can be changed with the time is something that can be developed as well. Moving on to the conclusion slide, I will leave it to my manager, Saverio, to give a conclusion.
Thanks, Akshai, for the very detailed description of what we have done. Just to finish this presentation, just to share the 6 points that we discovered with reality allow us to early detection of defect and reducing rewards. Was very important the down selection process, so that at the end we are happy that we really select the technology that for us is the best, considering the activities that we have performed. Maybe you do different things, maybe what we are doing and not fit you directly, but is important the approach. There are many possibilities. Pick 2, 3 that you believe are the best and test again. Then we are convinced that the solution that we have identified is also scalable. It's important that what you pick could be also scalable, not just for the use case, but for example, in our case, the solution could be really used for greenfield or brownfield modular approach. We already heard about the importance of the 3D model. A very accurate 3D model is the key. Without that, we cannot move ahead with this kind of technology, and the integration with AI is the future. will enhance, of course, the inspection, use this digital technology and leading us in this digital transformation. At the end, what was really key has been the collaboration between our teams, and really thanks all the people that work this project and make real the use of mixed reality for our LNG module CoStar. Thanks for your attention, and if you have the time, please have a stop at our booth in C50 in Hall 24, so we can talk more about mixed reality for module CoStar, and also show our product using the virtual reality. Thanks.